Today we're going to talk about checking babies. So at least twice a day when these lambs are under 3 or 4 days old, I walk through every one of these jugs. I'll make sure to get all these lambs up. I'll look at them. I'll look for signs of dehydration. I'll look for signs of bloat, E. coli, anything that we could possibly find to be wrong with them. And we'll walk through every single one of these. We'll make sure all these lambs are up. Right now we're shaking straw and cleaning water buckets and doing jugs, which is a good time where these babies are getting up, they're moving around, they're playing with the straw. So we can look down and make sure, see if these babies have a full belly. We can check on them, see if they're up nursing, see how they're doing. If we find one that we question whether it's full, for instance, like if we questioned if this sheep was full, what I like to do is grab that lamb by the head and put my hand under its rear flank and pick up on its belly. You can see this one's getting some milk, you know, maybe not tight full like some of the other ones we like to see. This recent mother isn't making the most milk, but this sheep's not dehydrated. His fleece looks good, she's doing good. But that's the way we'll check to see if their bellies are full. We'll grab under their flank and we'll pick up on their belly and see if they're full. Lambs like this, they're laying down. We'll try to get them all up, watch them move around, make sure they don't have the scours, make sure that they're healthy. This is a baby here that I've treated a couple times. This lamb had some respiratory pneumonia after he was born. This is actually one we grafted onto this ewe. This ewe lost her lamb and really wanted one, so we gave her this little girl here. That's one too. Once we've treated a sheep like that, we want to come back. We want to check him again. You know, one like this, I might go get the thermometer just to check to make sure she don't have a temperature. But to me, she looks a lot better today. She's full, her ears are up, she's up drinking. Another way to tell if they're drinking is we'll go in and we'll grab a hold of those ewes and we'll check their udder. If if the udder's tight full on both sides and there's no signs that lamb's been drinking the last 3 or 4 hours, that's a good sign that they're not drinking. Hey girl. Those babies look real good. That's a nice pair. And you can see that they're full, their ears are up, they look real healthy. This one has mom buried this little guy back here. So we'll go get her up, check her, make sure she's doing good. She looks good to me, just sleeping. This pair of babies here is up nursing, but I don't know if you can see, there's a smaller lamb on here. This is a first-time mother recip. It's a fall-born. She's not milking the best. This one's probably going to be in the jug a little longer. We're pushing some extra alfalfa to her and about all the grain she'll eat to try to get her milk production up so that she can do a better job feeding those 2 lambs. This little lamb here is a preemie that was 135 days. It's actually the youngest we've ever saved one. And this lamb's taken a lot of tender loving care and a lot of attention. This lamb got a little pneumonia too as well, which is pretty common with a lamb born that early, whose lungs probably weren't developed enough yet to be born at that point in time. That one's bouncing around, living his best life. That one. Old Ethan here has found a lamb that he says has a slight temperature that was in one of the turnout pens out there. This sheep has a temperature about 104. On one about this age that doesn't appear to be really sick, but was maybe a little slow when Ethan found it. We'll probably just treat this lamb with some Draxin. Let her go back in her pen, check her again tomorrow and make sure she's good. I always think it's good to be overcautious as opposed to undercautious and miss something, then come back the next day and find this lamb and find it to be half dead or in really rough shape. When we're treating with Draxin, we'll use, I think it's 1.1 cc's per 100 pounds. A little lamb this size probably weighs about 20-25 pounds. We'll give this guy about 0.25 cc's of Draxxin. Like a lot of the other shots, I like to give it subcutaneously down in this pit. Or in this flap of the skin of the neck here, which is usually easier for most people. Or you can give it on this side. This is a ewe lamb, so I'd be more, more conducive to give it on off-show side. Like I said, this is something we do at least twice a day, every day, with all the babies, the little ones, big ones, everything. We try to walk through them pens, get them up. This is one here you can see that had the scours some. We're pretty sure that's just because this is a lamb we grafted onto this ewe, so it was getting a really high amount of colostrum that it probably didn't need because it was a couple days old and we grafted it onto this new mum. We think that's why it's scoured. There's a baby that needs turned out of the jugs tomorrow. Once it's not so stinking cold out, we can get more out of the jugs tomorrow. There's a baby that's fat and happy and full and living his best life. This is one of the last ewes that lambed here. Got a pair split sex top tiers on her that are doing really good, especially for a young recip like that's doing a good job with them. This here is a grafted deal too. This ewe had a dead embryo lamb and we grafted this little silver fox lamb onto her off of an AI ewe that didn't have any milk. This is a pair of grafts too. We grafted both these onto this recip who had a dead lamb as well. And that's two different lambs off two different ewes that recip's lambing, doing a real good job with. This was the last lamb born out of this group. And he's had a little bit of a struggle. That's a sheep that we've treated for a little bit of E. coli. We weren't sure if it was E. coli or Clostridium, but his gut wasn't quite right. And his mother has had a hard time. She had a water belly lamb. I'm not sure a lot of you know what that is, but it was a big 20-pound water belly lamb that was really hard to get out. It was really hard on her. And we've been treating on her to try to keep her going so she can raise that lamb. These little specks are doing good, bouncing around, looking good. This recip here too has one of each on her, one that she had and one that we grafted onto her. That's something we'll talk about in one of our videos, is how we graft lambs. It's a big part of what we do here. I'd say we graft 30 to 35 lambs already this year on a different ewes. We try to utilize the mothers as much as we can. The ewes that have lots of milk, we try to get 2 lambs on them and get them to raise 2 lambs. Like I said, that was just a walkthrough there of all 36 jugs, get them lambs up. There was a couple of them there, that we went over some things they had in the past, but as a whole today, I don't see anything there that needed treated today. I didn't see anything that needed addressed. I'll probably go back to this lamb I told you about that had a little bit of E. coli. And we'll treat on this sheep's gut for a few more days, even though she's feeling good now. We just give her some Probias and some liquid boost and some stuff for her gut to try to keep her gut feeling good now that we got her over her E. coli problems and try to keep her on the right path. One of the biggest things we do is treat the gut. Every time we're treating them hard on any kind of infection, we find that it's really hard on their guts when we're treating them with all that medicine. A lot of times we're killing the good bacteria. So we'll go in even after they're feeling good and treat on their gut for 3 or 4 days so they don't go off feed or milk or continue to do good.